Hi, welcome to Year 4's spring term meeting. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them at the end, or if you're watching it on YouTube, you can just send them in via an email. I'll put my email in the comment bit. Okay, so just an update on how it's all going so far. The kids have come back from the Christmas break really well, and they've settled in. There's been a massive change in them since Christmas. Before Christmas, they were a little bit still learning, getting to grips with Year 4 and understanding what the expectations are from myself and Mrs. Joshi. They've come back almost like very different children. They are far more independent, they're more resilient, and their hearing has got exceptionally better as well. They're really understanding everything that we're asking them to do, and most importantly, they're trying their hardest throughout. Myself and Mr. Joshua are really impressed with just how well they've come back and how much they are improving as well. So adjustments. So obviously since we've come back, some things have changed. Obviously there's been a high number of cases, or a few should I say, cases in school, but that's been predominantly up in upper key stage 2, so years 5 and 6. Now, because of this, we have reverted back to bubbles for the next 2 weeks. What that means is that carousel stops and it gets taught by the class teachers in the classes. So there's that no movement of the staff into different classes. We're reverting back to just making sure everybody stays within their patches and just really trying to stop the spread of children over the next 2 weeks, just until that curve that we've got at the minute flattens. Clubs have also stopped for 2 weeks too, and we will review it. Mrs. Fellows will review it and look at what's going to happen next, with the outlook that hopefully they will be coming back, because the children absolutely love them too. When they do come back, should I say, the clubs which the children have signed up for and have been agreed for, so when you've got the slipping that's been highlighted, those are the ones that they will join. So if you're still on the waiting list for a club and they come back, you will still be on that waiting list until somebody drops out, and then you can move into it. Okay, so we're going to start off with topic, because this is the thing that is absolutely brand new to Year 4. Topic this term is called Am I Legend? It's a brand new topic which has been freshly planned and never been tried out before, so it's kind of like a learning curve for the children and me too. It's based on fairy tales, myths and legends, which is really good because it lends its hand to so many different curriculum objectives. We're going to be looking at like classic fairy tales such as Snow White and Little Red Riding Hood. And then we're going to go a bit further afield and looking at like Icelandic myths, legends from Greek mythology and things like that. So really delving deep into what a legend is, what a myth is, what a fairy tale is, and the history, the geography, everything that comes from that. We'll be doing 4 topic sessions per week. They'll be on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday and a Friday. And we're going back doing 1 mission per week now. So each week we'll be focusing on a specific curriculum focus. So it might be history 1 week, geography the next week, art another, music another, and so on. Some of the areas that we're going to be covering, so we're going to be looking at PE or dance, to inverse a traditional waltz. So obviously in a traditional waltz, the man is the one who leads. We're going to be trying to flip that on its head and seeing if we can do it so a woman can lead, and then what that dance would look like, what the steps would look like, what the holds would be, and so on. So really getting them to think and have a go, experiment with it. In design technology, we're going to be creating, building and testing an item. I don't want to say, don't want to give any spoilers, but we're going to create an item for a specific criteria, so a specific set of rules that they have to follow, and we're going to try to make it the best one so it can hold the most weight. In science, we're going to incorporate a little bit of cooking into that, to try to understand the digestive system. That's one of the big ones for Year 4, to understand the digestive system. And we're also going to throw some knowledge in about teeth as well, so how you break down that food and how it goes for your body to digest. We've already done this one, well, half of it should I say. Geography, we're going to be looking at Europe, so we've already covered our Europe. We can understand the continent and different countries within that continent, and just building on our map skills as well to make them as strong as possible. When you have a new topic, obviously your immersion room changes too. I know that parents aren't able to come into our classroom at the minute, unfortunately. So here are just a few photos of what our immersion room looks like. Mrs. Joshi has worked so incredibly hard on this. I don't think the pictures I've taken do it justice, to be honest with you. It is amazing. You walk in there and you feel like you're in a completely different place. I think this picture is probably the best one. It's going to be like an enchanting forest, and you've got the backdrops, you've got lots of different foresty scenes and typical scenes which you see from a classic fairy tale. The kids have been fighting tooth and nail to try and get into there. They are really, really, really motivated to get into there and to do their work. Today, actually, 6 of them went in and produced the most amazing English piece I have read in ages, purely because they were so immersed and so inspired by what was all around them in all these pictures. So hopefully when parents can come in, they will be able to see just how amazing the immersion room is and how it really, really inspires the children to get with their learning. Now, trips, obviously this is a new topic, are still to be confirmed. We will be going on a trip. It will most probably be in the latter part of the year, so the next half term, so after we come back in February. I'm trying to get that done by this week or next week at the latest, so parents will know, letters will go out, and you'll know when we're going, where we're going, if there's a cost, and what we'll be doing as well. It's just taking its time to figure it out and get the perfect one. Over in English now, so English has kind of been split down the middle into two. You've got your non-fiction, so obviously that's things like reports, explanatory text, things that are real, and your fiction to the stories. In topic is where we're fitting the non-fiction in. So when we're doing all these practical things like in science and in DT, we're fitting in by writing reports. That's what we're doing at the minute in history. So we're learning about the Viking invasion of England. So they are writing leaflets, reports, non-chronological reports, sorry, on the Viking invasion and whether they think they were heroes or villains. Explanatory texts are going to be when we come to doing DT, so they can explain their inventions and how they work, and then I'm going to get them to do persuasive arguments too. So one of the things we're going to be looking at are some myths from some Icelandic myths, and we're going to be looking at the stories behind them and whether it's fair that they had to do what they had to do, having a debate about that. In English, we are going to be focusing on stories. So at the minute we're doing play scripts for a picture. They're going to move on to doing letters from the point of Snow White when she ate the apple, and then we're going to finally move on to doing fairy tale stories, but they're going to change the endings. So we're going to take their favourite fairy tale and I'm going to get them to change it. And it'll be great because they'll get to use their direct speech, and all these different things that they've learned hopefully from the whole term, and it'll be something that they want to do. So fingers crossed we'll get some really good work from that. As always, the children are going to be pushed to be as creative and imaginative as possible. This term especially, we're really focusing on showing, not telling. So rather than telling me that the ogre was sad, what about his body language showed that he was sad? What about his voice, and so on? So really getting into how we can describe something using the senses, using as much description as possible, to make it imaginative, creative, but also descriptive as well. We're going to continue to let them build their thesaurus and dictionary skills. This is something that they've really got strong in. So now we're on the case of finding these words and then getting them to reason to us why that word is stronger than the other, or why that word is more appropriate than any other choices. So understanding the choices they're making for their language in their writing. In maths, we are just about to finish addition and subtraction. This has been a slightly longer unit than anticipated, but it's because it's such a massive thing and the method is so vital for them to learn to allow them to move on to everything else. They've done really, really well in this. We've had inverse questions, word problems, you name it, we've tried it. And they have all got it, so I'm really, really proud. After our post-assessment, we're going to be moving on to multiplication, division, and then measurements. That's going to be time, money, area, and perimeter. The multiplication and division are the two biggies. My next slide will explain why, but multiplication shouldn't be too bad. Division will be the one that might come a little bit tricky, so they may be asking you maybe some questions when it comes home. So yeah, just ask them about their day, what they've been doing, and then maybe to show you as well, okay? Because I think the more practice that they have with this, the better and more embedded it will be. So this brings me off nicely to this part. So in year 4, we have something called the multiplication check. This will take place in June. Now, all schools across the country will be taking place in the multiplication check. It's basically an on-screen one, and you have 25 times tables questions, and the child will have about 6 seconds to answer each question. What will happen is in school, when it's time, they'll be given an iPad. It'll be silent so they can focus, and they'll literally have the question on screen. So for example, 9 times 11 equals, and then they just have to type in the answer, so 99. Like I said, it's going to be 25 of these questions. Now, these are different to SATs, they're different to GCSEs, they're different to A levels, because there is no pass mark. It's literally just a case of seeing where your child might need a little bit more help than others. So as it says here, schools will have access to all their pupils' results, allowing those pupils who need additional support to be identified. So it's not a case of something that the parents and the student needs to worry about. It's for us as schools to know where their weaker points are and how we can help to boost them. Like I said, there's no pass mark, and then we can share the scores with you if you so wish. And it's just done for statistics and things like that. These will not be until June, and like it says here, it should take no longer than 5 minutes to complete. At the minute, I mean, we're just under halfway through year 4, and when we're doing our speed grids, the children are taking on average about 6 minutes. So the fact that we've got over half a year left to prepare for this, and they're already close to that expected completion date, I haven't got any worries about it. I will put this leaflet on my school app as well, so parents can look at it, download it, screenshot it, whatever you want, whenever you need it. So the one thing with times tables is that it needs your support as well to help it to be embedded. So continue to help support them, continue to test their times tables, to ask them multiplication questions at home, because those who are doing it, it's really showing, because they're strong, they're able, and they have a quick recall. At school, we are doing something called times tables tennis. I don't know if your children have told you about it, but it's something that I really, really enjoy in lesson. Basically, every single week they will be given a times tables. So this week's is the 7 times. On the Monday they'll be told it, and on Friday we have got our tennis competition, and it's literally just a case of reciting the times tables. So I'll be in the middle and I'll say 7 times 3, and I'll go to someone and they'll say 21, then I'll point to another person and then it's 28, and so on. So it's just reciting the times tables. This works really well because it's a game. The speed grids freak them out a little bit because it's very intense how we need to do it. Things like times tables tennis, hit the button, also just quick fire random games, they love and they enjoy because it's gamified. So if you're able to fit something like that in your day with them, whether it be on the drive to the way to school, on the way back from school, or just something small, it would really, really help them. Hit the button is something really good as well. It's something you can have on your phone or your iPad, and you can set it up so it can be a specific times tables, so for example the 2s or the 10s or the 9s, or you can have a mixed one. Mixed is what we do in class, because when it comes to times tables check, it will be mixed, so it's kind of getting them ready. General things to know then. So our PE day is on a Monday. That is going to be taught by Kenny, so please make sure PE kits are in Monday morning. The topic that they're doing in PE at the minute is kicking. So the first half term is learning about the skill and the equipments which we use, and then the second half term is focused on the different games and really enjoying it and putting the skill that they've used into practice. Now, enrichment is still on a Thursday afternoon and it's still called Find My Community. The only thing that's changed is that it's no longer Mrs. Rye teaching it. Mrs. Rye is now full-time in year 3. It's actually Mr. Hallam who's taken over. Not for these 2 weeks though, because we're in bubbles, so it'll be me delivering Mr. Hallam's planning. 2 members of staff who are working with your child, it's myself and Mrs. Joshi. Me being the teacher, Mrs. Joshi is the TA. We work with all the children, so completely intermingling with them all. They see us both as a teacher, which is awesome. Homework is sent out every 2 weeks. That's sent out on a Friday night via YouTube. A message goes out on my school app, sorry, and then I put the slides up on my school app through the document section, just in case people can't get into the video. Finally, forest sessions will be taking place this term as well. It's on a 3-week rotation. We're just waiting to confirm the date that these will start. It'll be with Mrs. Arundel, myself and Mrs. Joshi, and this is something that the children really, really enjoy. So in terms of forest, if you have got any Wellington boots or waterproofs and things which you'd like your child to have, you can either bring them in on the day and then take them home, or we can keep them in the forest shed at school. So just to be prepared for that. And that is actually everything. So if you have any questions, like I said, just let me know. If not, I will see you soon. Bye.